What up, gamers? This is an updated video on how to speedrun in version 11. So I'm going to kind of go through most of the skips that you need to be able to speedrun, and I expect to see you guys on the leaderboard with sub 4 at most. So follow along. Let's go. Alright, so when you respawn, you always start at this angle, right? To exit the cave, best thing you want to do, because the timer doesn't start until you move. You can move this around, you can vibrate, you can do everything. As long as you don't press WA, S, or D, timer does not start. With that being said, spawn in, straighten your camera up, and you're going to jump twice, hit this wall like this, and then you're going to just walk yourself right out the door. Ideally, you want to try to land on this at this angle if you can, so you can just pop yourself right up with a high jump. Alright, from here you just want to keep high jumping. I try to aim to the left of this ledge here, so this way I'm lined up with that ledge that we're aiming for. If you end up doing a high jump, and let's say that you kind of go off to the right a little bit more, that's okay. Don't panic. What I would do is I would just roll until I'm more over here to this side. Once you are more on the left side of this ledge here, we're aiming for that there. So line yourself up and then get ready to jump. This is what we call in the speedrun community the alt gap jump. The original gap jump, I believe, was found by Loy Cubed, also known as Loy. I believe they started over here, and then you just kind of do some crazy jumps like this, and you can make your way across, and then you jump up. That is pretty quick. However, the alt gap, I think, is just slightly faster, and it's also very satisfying when you actually hit it. So to do alt gap, like I said, I want to be lined up on the left side here because we're aiming for that ledge. The first jump is the most important jump, because if you just like hold W the whole time, you're obviously not going to get much speed, and you need pretty close to max speed in order to do this jump. As always, there's an overlay in the bottom left of the screen, so you can kind of see when I'm pressing W versus when I'm not, and when I'm pressing space as well. First jump, I kind of delay it just a little bit, so I'll hold forward and kind of pause for just a split second there. So if you just hold forward normally, as you saw, you just kind of flip, land right back on your face. You want to give it a good pause. So kind of pause just for a split second there, and so this way you can get your other 3 jumps. Once you successfully did your first jump where you kind of did that little pause, after that you are literally just holding W and then timing your spaces with your jumps, so this way you can try to get 3 jumps in there. So it'll look something a little like this: pause, jump, 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 and then you're here. At the very end, right as soon as I'm about to hit the ledge there, if you're watching the overlay, you could see that I kind of tapped the A key a little bit, and that's just gonna get me to go a little bit further left. Anyway, that's gonna get me to go a little further left, which is just gonna make it easier to get on the top. You can still land on the bottom and then just do a wall jump up, but it's obviously much faster if you just land up top the first try. So I'll do it again, kind of pay attention to the overlay and see what I mean when I say I tap that A key. You can sometimes do something like that. If you're like truly the best to ever do it, then that's obviously just amazing what I just did. I don't understand how I did that. That happens sometimes, and I'm just like, man, I might be the best. I don't know. All right, one last recap for this part. Once you do your high jumps, you want to jump over here. Go ahead and position yourself kind of in this area. I like to be overhanging the ledge by a little bit. It just makes me feel a little more comfortable, like I'm going to get all of my jumps in there. But as long as you can see that ledge fairly well, you should be good. You just want to be sure you don't hit the side of that ledge. Aim for that corner. So this pad you'll take just like normal. Typically I'll hold on to my jump and then try to use it once I'm kind of above the gray cube area. So I just kind of hit it there. There's 2 different ways you can go. You can go this way, where you kind of go past the cannon and then jump in, which is fine. But if you happen to be a little further right after you use your jump, what I like to do is land kind of in this area, and then you can do what you would do over the cardboard cannon and just kind of climb your way up. Only bad thing about this is sometimes you can kind of get stuck under here, and it's actually one of the most annoying things in the game. So just keep that in mind. It is dangerous. It doesn't really save a whole lot more time going over the back than it does if you were just to go past it. So that's up to you. You do however you want to. I will support you regardless. After this, we take the cannon. This is pretty normal one here. You hit this, wait just a second. Once you're past the cube, you can hold forward, and then you'll just kind of land in this area. Some people will aim for this wall, and if you hit the wall when you're flat like this and then also kind of angled down like this direction, and so you hit the wall sideways like that, you'll kind of shoot off and then come over this way. It is a little bit of a time saver, but like it might be like half a second. Like it's not a huge time saver. From here you want to wall jump up onto the cardboard box, and then this is the one where it's pretty beneficial just to scale the back of the cannon. There's really no point in going off to the side, just because the setup here is really easy, and you can just kind of almost climb up it like a ladder. Just hop right in. I like to be at this angle where I'm kind of pointed this direction. As soon as you hit the sandbox, you want to hit space to get a jump, and then most of the time you'll get an even better bounce than what I just did there. But as long as you are flying at the sandbox at this angle, because if you're flying this way, you're more than likely going to end up hitting the wooden part of the sandbox here. But if you hit it like this, 9 times out of 10 you're going to go flying that direction very fast. If you hit it at like a kind of a weird angle like this, there's sometimes that you'll kind of fly over towards Muddy's signs, and that is one of the worst experiences in the speedrunning process. So once you hit the sandbox boost, you kind of want to make your way over towards Beamer here. In version 11, the beam actually got a pretty significant buff, so now you can get up there really quick. You don't even have to really try to do this skip anymore. Before you had to like really time it well. This one you just kind of jump up there and you're chilling. After doing the beamer skip, you want to make your way over to the dreaded triple. I have a video separate that kind of goes over how to do this. I would suggest looking at that one if you're really struggling at this one. I'll kind of give just like a quick little guide on it, but I have a whole video dedicated to the skip because it is pretty tough. But what I like to do is right here, there's like this little knot. I don't know if it's there in lower graphics settings, but there's kind of like this little circle here, a little knot in the wood. I like to be about that close from the stone wall, and then I like to have this corner of my phone in the crack, and I like to have this corner of my phone pretty close to the crack. I think in the actual guide I utilize this crack here, but I mean it's pretty much the same either way, as long as you're kind of at this angle. So the right side of my phone is right at the very end of that crack, and then the corner of my phone is within the gap of the wood here. And then like I said, I like to be about where that knot is. You just jump up and then time your spaces. The timing on your jumps are the biggest thing. At this angle that I have you set up at, you don't have to press any of the directionals except for obviously W to start going forward. Once you're done going forward, all you have to do is press space. So it's just a timing. So jump, space, space, and then hold forward to grab onto the ledge. So there are other ways that you can do this skip. If you come at it more of like a straight angle like this, you'll want to press your W, jump, and then you want to tap your D key, which will kind of rotate your phone clockwise, and then the bottom left of your phone will hit the wooden beam. So it's this one's a little harder. This is what we do in the older versions, just because the realigning isn't there. But it can still be done. It's just, I feel like a little harder, whereas if you do this setup, you don't really have to focus on pressing any directional buttons. You just have to get the timing of your spaces. The high jump is very important, because if your first jump isn't a high jump, you're not going to be able to get the height that you need to get all the way up to the top. So this is the next skip here. It's just this bounce pad. You just kind of jump onto it, I like to roll onto it just to ensure that I have my jump afterwards, because sometimes the jump pads are a little finicky, and if you jump onto it, you might actually lose your jump, which has happened to me a couple times, and then I end up having to climb the ladder of shame. So I like to just roll onto it. I'll hit triple jump here, and then I'll kind of do one jump and then roll onto it like that. And then I wait probably about half a second, and then I'll use my jump. I don't use it right away just because, I don't know, there's really no need to. But your goal is to land here. If you want to do like a more advanced skip, which this one I am not very consistent in, I've done it a couple times, and I know it's possible. But do the same thing, and you wall jump your way up there, and then you have to be at just the right angle to get the wall jump bounce, and then be able to grab the top ledge there. So it's one that like I try to go for, and it might actually destroy my runs, but that's kind of how it's done. That one's tough, I'm not gonna lie. If by chance you mess this pad up and you end up having to do the ladder of shame, which is okay, it happens, you'll just want to go towards the ladder like you normally would. Just hold W because you don't have to do anything else. Once you're at this top ladder, or top rung of the ladder, I guess, right before you're about to be parallel with the ground, so obviously this is parallel, and you're swinging your way up, right as soon as you hit that parallel angle, that's when you want to let go of your directional buttons, and you want to jump, and it'll kind of give you this kind of like a little flick jump in a way. Big thing with this is obviously you want to let go of the directional buttons when you are doing the jump. If you're watching the overlay in the bottom left of the corner, you'll climb up, time it just right, let go of W and hit space, and then you want to hold W again to grab onto the ledge. So this first pad you'll take normal. I don't jump on it because it just kind of wastes time. Well, I don't jump after hitting the pad, I just kind of take it normal. I also have a video on how to manipulate these pads, so I'm not really going to show it you too much here, but best bet, be on the side of your phone like this, press to where you're fully up against the pad there, and then you just want to hold W to lean forward, and then I immediately will, as soon as I hit the pad, I'll jump and then start holding A to go to the left. And then when if I'm going too fast, I'll start to hold S2 to slow down. So just like that. This pad is a little easier because we're just going pretty much straight up to that platform there. So I just lean forward and immediately hold S to try to kill my momentum, and then press space. And then hold D as well to go to the right, so that'll put me over here. This one's pretty easy as well. Just go forward, immediately start holding D, and then I kind of wait to use my space on this one, just because you don't really need to get a whole lot of height. So hold forward, and then I'll use my space like maybe, I don't know, half a second after hitting the pad. So ideally you want to go from that pad to this pad just like in one motion without like hitting this platform at all. It'll just kind of save you a little bit more time, so I'll show you what that looks like. There we go. From here, I normally don't use my jump after the pad. I just try to land on the pretty much as far down from the slide as possible. If I use my jump after this last pad, all it does is keep me in the air longer, and I don't really want to do that. So I'll normally just hit this one, not use my jump at all in the air, and just kind of make it to the slide. All right, for the slide skip here, this one's actually like really fun once you get the hang of it, and it's very satisfying to do as well, and it's also really easy to practice. So what you want to do is just slide down the slide normal. I try to be straight up and down like this. As soon as you are about to come off the end of the slide, you want to hold W to kind of stand yourself up, and then when you hit the wooden platform here, that's when you want to jump. As long as you're kind of in an upright position and then you jump as soon as you hit the platform, you'll kind of do like a pop jump all the way up to the top of the ladder, and it'll skip it. That ladder can be a problem for a lot of people, so this is definitely something that's worth learning, and there's really not a whole lot of danger when using it, except for you might like fly through the rungs of the ladder, which can kind of kill a run, I guess. So we're going down. I'm gonna hold W, pop, and then most of the time you can get all the way to the top, but sometimes if you don't, you'll at least land on that top rung there, and then you'll just kind of flip yourself up from there. Once you're on the very top here, I use the align button to straighten myself up. And then our goal here is just to high jump up onto that little section there. So I typically will use where the shadow meets the light kind of as like a guide point to jump up here. So from here, you pretty much just want to climb yourself up to the top of the bridge here. Ideally, if you can, when you're doing your jumps, try to get your last jump to where the top of your phone lands in between the second and third log. So you got 1, 2, 3 logs. I try to get it to where my phone lands like this in between these logs, because the distance from where your phone is to up here is pretty much perfect to line yourself up for this next skip. So I always try to get my phone to be right in this position here. This way you can just kind of go like this. High jump up here. This skip is definitely one of the hardest skips, I'd say, right next to the triple jump. I will typically kind of be at this angle here, to where the left of my phone is on the shadow. I don't know. I would say I'm just typically kind of at like this angle. This is the angle I go for. If I jump up and I realize like, oh, I might bunk my head, I kind of tap the D key just a little bit to clear the top platform. Like that, so it kind of like will straighten me up a little bit. So this is what happens if I don't tap it. I'll kind of jump up and then it cuts it really close to that ledge right there. So just barely tapping D will kind of give me the peace of mind that like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be far enough away from this ledge where I won't accidentally clip it. Once you do the corner jump there and make it up to the top, a lot of times you'll kind of find yourself stuck under this platform as well, which happens to the best of us. All right, so from here you can kind of just like realign yourself and then roll to get out from under it. So from here you want to do a wall jump. This wall jump is a little trickier because this is an angled wall, obviously. With a normal wall jump, you would kind of be at this angle, but if you do that, you're gonna bonk your head. So what you need to do is actually have yourself angled out a little bit further than you would think you would, so this way you can get past that ledge. When I hit this wall, I like to kind of be at this angle here. It's like a little bit more than a 45-degree angle. So this way, and if I have to, I will tap like the S key. So this way I can kind of go back a little bit and it'll kind of let me loop and grab that ledge a little better. So see a small S tap there, and then you can just kind of ladder climb your way up these ones. So this is what I have this skip look like here. Do a little wall jump, S, jump, and like that. These next skips are pretty easy. It's just a lot of high jumps, so I'll typically try to skip this and just high jump straight up, jump over to Sanic, and then I try to land about this distance away. It's probably a little bit more than half of a phone length. But from here you just high jump and then wall jump, and then you can grab on to the ledge and flip up. This is just a pretty standard wall jump. This is another one that I kind of lean back a little bit further, just so this way I can be sure I get over and around the ledge like you're supposed to. And then from here you just kind of jump up. When you're aligning, if you kind of tap your A and D keys, you can kind of actually turn faster than if you just like do regular aligns. So there's another little pointer for you. So I will typically jump up here, grab on, and then realign, do a high jump, and then do another realign, and then another high jump. Once you're up here, I've gotten to the point where I actually just realign to straighten myself up, because there's been too many times where I'll get like excited and I'll start flailing and then I fall off, and I'm just not doing that anymore. So I'll jump up, kind of realign, and then just go from here. This is the long jump skip. A lot of people, what they'll do is go off to the side and do the long jump skip. which is fine. You can do that. What I'll do is I'll do the long jump behind the cannon. Only bad thing, once again, is sometimes you can get stuck kind of under the cannon, but that doesn't happen too terribly often. We'll do the long jump, and then I'll just kind of climb up the back of the cannon like that. Just to quickly explain the long jump here, because it's actually, it looks very daunting, but it's one of the easiest jumps in my opinion. Once you get it down, you can pretty much do it like every single time. Pretty much what you want to do is overhang the edge by maybe a quarter of your phone. You're going to want to rotate a lot further forward than you think you are. So here's like 90 degrees. You're going to want to like actually rotate past 90 degrees over the edge, which is going to seem very sketch. Once the bottom of your phone is on the vertical part of the ledge there, that's when you want to jump. So like I said, you're gonna rotate over a lot further than you think you need to, but it'll be okay because it'll give you that push. Another thing with this, just like the high jumps, the ladder jumps, everything, when you're rotating over and you're getting ready to jump, you want to let go of all your directional buttons and then hit your space button, and that'll get you the max jump. When doing this, typically in like my runs, I'll do it facing forward just because I don't really have time to, you know, turn my camera to the side. But if you're just starting out on this, I personally think that it's easier to do the long jump from a side profile. So like if you're facing this way, you want to use your A key to rotate over. And then obviously if you're facing this way, you want to use your D key to rotate over. I feel like this is a really great place to practice it because they give you that checkpoint. So there's really no foul in trying to learn this long jump. All right, so quickly it's gonna look like this. And there we go. So you obviously want to land flat here. What I do immediately is I will hold S and then A and kind of get myself into this position here. From here you will just kind of do your long jumps to gain as much speed as you can. But the way that I was doing it, if you hold A and S to where you kind of line yourself up like that, it puts you in pretty good position where you can just do speed jumps to get across the way. So see, it kind of lines you up like that. And there we go. I hope that video kind of helped everyone with the speedrun strats. These are at least the current strats as of right now. Current routes and everything that people are doing. Obviously multiplayer is a little different. There's some different strats and things that you can do in multiplayer, but for solo runs, this is kind of what we're working with right now, at least in version 11 of the demo. If anything else comes out, I'll probably end up making a video on it. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment in the video, shoot me a message on Discord, or you can ping me in the server and I'll be happy to help you guys. Now that this video is out, I actually expect every speedrunner to have at least a sub 4-minute time, because quite frankly, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and yeah, thank you for watching the video. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the leaderboards.